The fourth series of The Boys is nearly concluded, and I absolutely want to talk about this. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. So it's a TV show today, The Boys. If you have been on the channel longer, you will know that I'm a fan of The Boys. I have reviewed them previously. So if you are interested, especially in my review of the third series, I'll leave a link to that at the end of this video. But as of this filming, I know this video is going to be released on Saturday, by which time the final of this fourth series will already be out. Unfortunately, it takes me some time to edit these, so I'm actually recording this before I am seeing the final. So keep in mind that this review is excluding the experience from the last episode. Now, typically, the last episodes in The Boys have some really cool stuff in them and some cliffhangers, etc, etc. I have no doubt that will be the case here as well, especially as it's been confirmed that the fifth series is going to be the final one, so you can imagine this is going to be the biggest cliffhanger ever, I would imagine. And I personally don't think they are going to disappoint with the final either. So I don't think it'll really change my opinion on the whole series too much. If you're American, I mean series as in season, because that's how Brits refer to. It's a TV show and you've got a series, or anyway, never mind. Yeah, so, but if there is some drastic change to my opinion, I'll make sure when I upload this video to add that in the comments. Okay, so keep a lookout for that. So, The Boys, I hope you're familiar with it. I'm not going to delve too deep into it, especially because I'm not talking about the show as a whole. I'm talking about, like I say, the newest series. So, yeah, you need to familiarize yourself with it if you want to get the full context of this. So, I suppose we'll briefly talk about the plot anyway. I mean, if you've been caught up, you know, and you've watched it up until now, haven't watched this yet, you're interested in what's happening here, best, I suppose, to catch you up on what's going on. I mean, the overarching plot is still the same. We have got The Boys, our group of partially government-funded guys and girls who are trying to take down Vought. If you're a fan of the comics, Vought American, that's their name. I mean, I think strictly speaking, that's what they're called in the show as well, but everyone just refers to them as Vought, including themselves. It's this firm, they've basically invented this compound V. It's this chemical which, when injected, gives you superpowers. Which ones is always a bit of a Russian roulette. It can go in any direction, but basically they have created superheroes, but they're not a good company. And especially these superheroes are, some of them, just outright batshit crazy. You know, they get up to all sorts of things. The whole thing is just basically, what if evil people, or let's say morally dubious people at best, were superheroes, right? And that's still the case. So the Boys are still trying to take down Vought, and particularly Homelander. I mean, we saw in the last series that Homelander really now is at the head of Vought, the company, so he's taken over. And yeah, so we can see this drastically shifting towards more and more extreme things happening, and positions as well. Now, it's been funny watching the online discourse about this series, because a lot of people, particularly on the right side of the political spectrum, have been up in arms. Have been saying, oh, you know, this is terrible, this show is now making fun of us so much, etc. They have always been, you know. You've just not been paying attention. To be fair though, they also make fun of a lot of things that go on the left side of politics. But when your main villain is Homelander, and he is absolutely a very fascistic person, you know, obviously a lot of focus is on him, and yes, that is more from the right side of the political spectrum. In any case, when it comes to that, this series is a lot more extreme. So yeah, we've got the usual ups and downs. You know, our boys, they have some small successes, some setbacks. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but just know that it's still the overarching plot. One thing that really changes is we now have Mother's Milk, he played by Laz Alonso. He is now the head of the Boys. So while Butcher is still, he still exists, he's still floating about. As we learned in the last series, he is suffering from cancer. He's not got long to live. We really see that play out a lot as well. He's not well. He does cross paths with the Boys in quite a lot of ways, and at many points helps them. You know, they cooperate still, etc. But he's not the guy that you know, we're used to, and the cooperation between them is, you know, it's a bit dodgy. It's not working too well. So MM's in charge, and they're still trying to get all sorts of things done. Finding it gradually more and more difficult, because if you remember, the background plot that's happening is that we've got Victoria Newman, who herself is a soup. She is the VP, the Vice President. And, you know, she's on her way to the White House, basically. So the background fear that the boys have, you know, the homeland is always in the foreground, but in the background, they're always thinking about Vought and these soups, etc. They're basically going to take over the White House and thus the whole of America, you know, and that's going to be catastrophic as well. So yeah, you've got all these many things going on. Homelander is trying to rebuild Vought, especially rebuild the Seven. So this is, I suppose, quite exciting if you like that side of the story. He adds 2 new people to the team. One of them is Sage, played by Susan Hayward. She is an absolutely brilliant person if you're interested in what's super. Her brain constantly regenerates, and through that she's got you know, just a superhuman intelligence. So obviously a great advantage to Homelander, you know, having someone who can really come up with a lot of things, and he uses her in particular to think of all the sides of the business that he doesn't want to think about, you know, public image, and how does he actually solve the corporate problems and all these kind of things which he doesn't want to concern himself with. So she's an addition to the cast. And then we've got Valerie Curry. She plays Firecracker, who I mean, the name is quite fitting. She is a bit bonkers and insane, you know. She is basically a personification of really extremist, hard right media online. Think of Alex Jones and the like, you know, people who go online and just spout some of the craziest shit you can think of, and for some reason get a following. So obviously she is there to really stoke that fire that we already saw build up in the 3rd series, where, you know, Homelander literally killed someone in the street and got cheered on for it. So yeah, that crowd, that part of the population, that's who he's trying to get into bed with, basically, and that's what Firecracker's there for. So the 2 of them, they do change the dynamics within the Seven a bit. I quite like that. Apart from that, we've got old figures returning. Just as a slight spoiler, A-Train, you know, who's always been a bit on the fence, or at least as we continued on, you know, he's not been as evil as the rest. We see that continuing. I'm not going to tell you how that goes. We've still got the Deep around, who, at least comedically speaking, is one of my favourite characters, if not the favourite character. I just think he's hilarious. Played by Chase Crawford. He's still up to his good old ways of doing stuff with octopuses and just being very, very opportunistic. That's how I describe him the most. A lot of things that go on here. If you like The Boys until now, you will enjoy this. I'm very happy to report that it really continues in the same quality. We've got really crazy things happening. We've got a lot of things happening where, like, this is really relatable to stuff that we see happening in real life, you know. So somehow they managed to really cut through all this stuff that happens and just manage, even though it's filmed so far in advance, to somehow publish it at exactly the right time when stuff happens, you know, for us here. It's really good. I still enjoy the characters, the dynamics, the overarching storyline. It is starting to become a bit repetitive, so I see a lot of the criticisms, and while I still enjoy it a lot, I do agree that, you know, we're slowly getting to a point where, like, you know, it's a bit silly that Homelander doesn't just outright kill the boys. It's more difficult in the comics, because in the comics they are actually juiced up, so they are literally harder to kill. But here they are just normal human beings, so why aren't they dead yet? You know, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. They try and explain it away with, oh, they've got all sorts of information that they could release and all that, but I don't feel that's enough. Also vice versa, you know, it's just like, right, so I'm glad that they announced that the 5th series is going to be the last one, because I do feel we need a conclusion of this story now, you know, before it drags on too much, runs out of steam. If they pull off the 5th season series just like they did all the previous ones, this is going to be a box set I am going to be dying to buy, because it will be amazing from start to finish. It'll be such a perfect piece of TV, you know, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. One thing I did miss, but it's really difficult to replace him, Jensen Ackles played Soldier Boy in the 3rd series. I just loved his character. He was wacky and wild in all of the best ways. Because he was basically, what if the boys were accompanied by Homelander, but not an exactly outright evil one, you know? So, because he was so unpredictable and he does all sorts of things, and just the character was written so cool. The way Jensen Ackles performed him, he was really such a highlight of the whole show, really. So there's quite a loss there for me, you know, when I look at this. But again, with him not being there, they still did a really good job. We get some new characters, we get some others recurring. You get Gen V popping in, basically. If you've watched that, I've done a review for that as well. So that makes an appearance. That plotline is influential here as well, which is great to see. Overall, they're still going full steam ahead. We've got some absolutely insane things happening, you know, where you're sitting. Just on that note, Anthony Starr needs, you know, wins in whatever Emmys or other TV awards exist, because, you know, his run as Homelander, it really is iconic by now. Because as soon as he enters a room, you're like, you feel this danger just surrounding him, this aura. It's like someone might get killed here and we don't even anticipate it, because he just is crazy. You know, he's just so unpredictable and it's so good, and just he is the perfect person to play this role. I think he himself is going to miss it once it's over, because it's really made him an iconic actor just with this one role. So as you can see, it's a glowing recommendation from me. If you've got Amazon Prime Video, if you've seen the previous ones, or if you've read The Boys, I believe you will still continue to enjoy it, even in the 4th series. And like I say, I can't wait to not only see the conclusion of it, but also to see how the whole thing ends, because I'm really excited for it. That will be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about your thoughts on Series 4 or the entire series, or comparisons to the comic books. Any and all of that you want to say, put it down in the comments below. I'll thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care. Bye.